Hey guys, welcome back to Wolf in the Wild Survival. I'm Dave, and this is episode 5 of an introduction to the 10 C's of survival. 10 categories of survival. Today is all about cover. Cover is pretty simple. It is a sports blanket. It is a mylar sheet. It is a tarp. It is something to help you build a shelter. Nope. It's a category. It is a category all on its own, just like I've been saying. It starts out with your clothes. You've got yourself covered. I've got my hoodie with bark in it. I've got the shirt, and I have a base layer, moisture wicking. All right, top and bottom. I've got my boots. I've got my socks. That's step 1 of cover. Step 2. A tarp, a sports blanket, something along that lines. But it doesn't quite stop there. Let me get a different angle on the camera. I'll get back to you in just a second. Now when I got out here, it was really windy. It was very windy. And I had like a quick pop-up shelter. You know, you pull these 2 ropes and the whole thing just comes right up, and there's like a thing on the top that the ropes come out of that clicks into place and locks. Well, I broke it. I was pulling to set it up, and one of the pieces went backwards and ended up breaking on me. It was kind of old, but still, it was a real drag, that thing breaking like that. So, when I got here, it was really windy. I had to set up a shelter to put the camera in so that my video wouldn't be all wind. Now, I'm sure you've heard the tarp blowing around a little bit. I threw this thing up in minutes. Okay, I did not go elaborate. It didn't take long at all. It was like 5-10 minutes tops. I could do a slightly better job, but mostly it was just to keep the camera out of the wind, which is picking up right now, and I'm sure is playing havoc with my video. But I think this is called a plow point. I don't know. I've only recently ever read any kind of survival manual or anything like that. People have different names for different things. So I think this is called a plow point shelter. I don't know. I'm still reading that book, to be honest. But, nevertheless, what's wrong with this shelter? Well, for starters, the ground. If I'm going to go through the effort and the mindset to pack a tarp so that I have cover over my head, why would I not have something for the ground as well? I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to pack one tarp. They don't weigh much. They don't take up that much room. You know, some of the bigger ones maybe, but I mean, you're not building a shelter for like 40 people. You don't need anything all that big. And what do I have? A 10 by 8 made a decent enough shelter for me and possibly one other person. So when you're dealing with cover, don't think just about what you're going to have over your head. Think about what you're going to be lying down on when you go to sleep. I have a emergency survival bivy. They're not the greatest. They're not going to last you forever. But in a pinch, in a hard time, they will help. And I mean, look at that. I have a couple of these. They don't take up hardly any space in hardly any kit. That's it. That's nothing. For room, that's really not that much space at all. That's probably one of the smallest pieces of kit that I have. So you don't really need to have that on there. And that is part of my cover. So I've got a tarp, which the camera is sitting inside right now. I have this, and I have this. Is that adequate for a shelter? Maybe. Maybe. But the idea of a shelter is to stay out of the elements, to stay out of the wind, partially, if it's raining, to stay dry. You're going to need to go out in bad weather to get firewood if you want to keep a fire going, if you want to keep warm. Well, what's the point in having a shelter if you're going to go out and get wet? Rain poncho. What was this, $3? Yeah, $3, Dollarama. A relatively decent, clear, no fuss rain poncho. You can't necessarily make this into a decent shelter. I mean, you could, but it's not like a one-part poncho, one-part tarp. Okay, it's really a poncho, but you could put this on the ground. So maybe you don't have something like this here. Maybe you just have the tarp that you guys are sitting in right now, this and that, and you lay on this on the ground, you lay inside this on top of that over, and there you go. And if you need to get up and get out of here to go and get, some firewood, you get up, you put this on, you go out and you do what you got to do. At least you're staying dry. Some sort of rain poncho. I don't care if it's even a little one. Some sort of rain poncho to help keep you dry in inclement weather. Definitely a good idea. Now you could go expensive, elaborate, kind of whatever, if you're so inclined. This is just like a Maxpedition bottle bag, kind of whatever. But I have kind of made it into my shelter kit. So I have some small, lightweight, thin tent stakes. And I have various lengths of paracord, 10 feet, 25 feet, and one 50-foot length in here. And then I have my sill nylon ripstop tarp. These are fairly expensive. It's worth the money to have one. This is my shelter kit from my camp pack, and I'm sure, as a lot of you know, I spend a lot of time camping in the woods and whatnot. I don't do videos every single time I go camping. I get out and I enjoy time with my friends and family, or even just the solitude and quiet alone. I don't necessarily video every single time. Now that I have this AV belt, I'm not carrying around, a heavy camp pack plus my AV bag. That might start to change a little bit. I'm not necessarily going to do every camp trip, but I probably will do a lot more. And this will be featured. And there's There's some money wrapped into this. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a fair bit of money wrapped into that. But, okay, well, I can't actually include the baby because I have a sleeping bag that is about this size too. So, my sleep aside, I mean, this kind of, you know, so, and then, you know, my hammock actually kind of goes with this as well. So I guess I can't do a size comparison. Sorry, guys. But either way, a simple shelter kit, an expensive shelter kit. Remember, always remember, you want to have something over you, something under you, and then you want to have something to crawl into. And you're going to want to be properly dressed whenever you go into the woods, so that if you get hot, you can shed layers, but if you can get cold, you can put them back on. And I mean, in the event of it getting relatively cold and somehow I get lost, these rain ponchos aren't breathable. They will hold the heat. So if I have to crawl into this and keep dry and warm, they actually will work. Yeah. That about covers cover. Jeez. Can you tell this is unscripted? So, alright. That is the first 5 C's completed. When we finish off with our cover video, that's the first 5 that we've got covered. So stay tuned for the next 5 C's, which we will be doing and uploading fairly shortly. We'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.